So, unintentionally, we figured out that jelly juice has been used as a cure. Jelly juice is a type of cure, but it should not be a cure to be abused. Well, how can jelly juice be abused? Because it's not illicit. It's not a Schedule 1 drug. It's not anything that is antibiotic. So how could jelly juice be used as a cure? Well, salt has a curative effect. Salt with water is a conductor. Yes, it will open up your ionic channels that have been closed, and you will feel all the different deluge of dammed up evolution that you never got to experience because of predispositions and belief systems. But when you do too much of anything, now what is too much? It's not like drinking more than like a quart or a gallon. No, when you do too much, it means that you're using it for your symptoms. So we figured out when people got off the J juice and their symptoms, their predisposition, not even symptoms, but their predispositions came back. Well, how can that be? I thought they healed themselves. Well, they were on their way to heal themselves, but instead of dealing with their predispositions and eating the food supply and dealing with their skin conditions and dealing with their different diseases, they kept using J juice to hold it back. Oh my God. Well, that's no different than the allopathic holistic. They're using different modalities to hold back your evolution. And so yes, on one end, the positive side of the vaccines and the therapeutics and all the different holistic allopathic ways, there is the giving of the life. And then on the negative side, the overuse of it, it takes away life. And so you're seeing now the way the positive and the negative integers are working even in the jelly juice world. And so when you think about it, jelly juice works for all people's intentions. Jelly juice is for everybody's. It's like jelly juice is the face for everybody and all their intentions. But I don't want people to die, and I want people to live. I don't want people using J juice to get to disappear symptoms, which is what they do anyways in the holistic allopathic. So when you think about it, no one died from jelly juice. They just died from the fact of how they used it and the fact that they didn't eat food. If they even did die and were using jelly juice, assuming that we have one person that someone could be like, oh yeah, she tried to destroy him with jelly juice and he passed away. Well, he was in hospice and he probably wasn't eating enough and so many other factors, but yeah. So getting off the jelly juice proves that the intentions of the holistic allopathic world is to never really heal you, but is to hold back your evolution so you never deal with it. So all your diets and all your different detoxes and all your different operations and all the starvation things that go on, all it does is just holds back the symptoms that you don't want to deal with. And yes, people have used that with the J juice. So now the strategy is to only experience the plus side of the J juice. And as soon as you start hitting the negative, when you start using it to disappear pain, not using it as topical while you're in the process of bringing everything up, but when you're actually actively taking J juice because you are in pain, then you have just tapped into the negative side of J juice. And I knew I had to find a way to say this, because how do you say something like this? Well, the only way a person can understand where I'm coming from is if they understand physics and the positive and negative, ionic and covalent, and the Trinity. The Trinity is the two bases, and then you have the capstone. The two bases are the for and against. And then there's the intelligence, which is the capstone, which is where you want to end up, is at the top of the pyramid. You don't want to be at the base where you are like part of the ranks. You want to be somewhere where you're rising above. But we need people at the base and we need people at the top, because you can't have everybody at the top. I mean, I guess you could, but that would mean then our society would be very well oiled. every piece of infrastructure would be in place. We would know how to mitigate against corrosion and decay, even in the infrastructure. Because you see, obviously today, in Florida, infrastructure is destroying itself because of shoddy workmanship or cutting corners, and then the elements. So you'd have to, in order for us to have everybody at the top of the capstone, we would have to know every single cause and effect and find every way possible to know when something is going to start going into the negative. I don't know how, it just depends on how you want to run your society. But when you look at humans and how humans always seem to overdo things, yeah, they may hit the positive side, like the jjuice. When you first start the jjuice, you hit the positive. You're getting all the symptoms, and you're getting all the evolution, and you're feeling all the kind of ways, and you're getting tapped into the universe, and you're having the dreams, and you're having all that stuff. And then somehow, some way, you then tap into the negative side of anything that's positive. And so then humans experience both the positive and negative, and they're like, what the hell? And so they end up with the negative, and they blame the positive. That's the freaking conundrum about it all, is that humans don't understand balance. And so now we have to understand that there is a way to tap into just the positive without tapping into the negative personally, because you can't tell someone, well, you're doing these diets and you're doing this and you're doing that, and so that's bad. You personally have to know what it's like to be on the positive end of something when it comes to life. And that means you have to feel symptoms. That means you got to eat food. That means you might have to get rid of your six-pack because you need the extra added insulation, because we're in a very electrified universe and electrified society. And so that's the side that I'm trying to now figure out how to articulate, is that when you start, how you know when you are ending up on the negative side of a positive is when you're using jjuice or anything else to mitigate pain. When you're not facing your pain and using food. Like I had a bagel, I had cream cheese, I had chips, and I had salsa, and I had sour cream, and then I had pierogies, and I had salsa and sour cream, and a pork chop, and what else did I have? I had roasted red peppers, yellow peppers, and orange peppers, and that was my food today. Okay, because I'm feeding my virus. Give me the insulation. So that's tapping into the positive side. I got off the jjuice because I already experienced the positive side of jjuice actually probably 2 years ago. Okay, but I kept doing it because we don't know what evolution is in our society. We hear about, like I heard on, I saw on Facebook saying that, scientists are rethinking evolution because now, we're realizing that there's a big, huge skull out there, and maybe aliens did come and make us and all this stuff. So they're trying to question evolution. But you can have a bioengineered and an evolution happen simultaneously. It doesn't have to be bioengineered or evolution. It doesn't have to be science or religion. You can have both, intermix the two, and figure out the actual facts of the story, and then use science as a way to explain it. And then you can make it even prettier with the allegories through religion. But humans humans can be both bioengineered, and they can both be evolved. And so evolution is, and I lost my freaking train of thought. But anyway, so I'm trying to find a way to explain tapping into the positive and not tapping into the negative, and to understand both sides of it. And then also realize that, yes, when you do too much of the jjuice and you're using it for pain, and you're not gaining weight, and you're so skinny that, yes, you won't have what it's going to take to be able to handle what's going on out there as far as the virus is. And so facing your demons, facing all of the symptoms of evolution, and then getting to a point of plateau in between the upload and in between the download. And what is that? Well, that was what I dealt with today. Was I had to upload, and I was tired, and I didn't even take coffee. I just slept, and I ate food, and then I had a data dump, which is basically pooping, and then I'm finally in a really good space. And I was on a tangent. Oh my God. I was talking about aliens, talking about something, and then somehow I got off of that. So that does happen when I'm like, there's so much stuff, going on. But yes, I hate when I go on a tangent because then I lose where I was going to go with that. But yeah, so humans happen to always seem to want to go to the negative. And not negative like being negative and be all like, I'm talking about is they overdo things. They don't bring something up to experience it and then finally deal with it. No, they want to keep taking, when they think it's something so good and they understand why it's so good, you have to feel pain and you have to bring up all the biochemistry and all that stuff, then they overdo it and then it turns into a cure. And so that's what I'm going to try to explain is that the intelligence of the trinity of the jjuice is not to experience the negative side of jjuice and using it as a cure, is to only experience the positive side and be the intelligent one to understand the positive side. And then when you know you're in a universe full of viruses, you should be feeling the symptoms. If you're chasing away symptoms with jjuice, if you're chasing away symptoms with anything else out there, I don't care what it is, whether it's yoga, whether it's meditation, whether it's alcohol, drugs, and sex, or whatever, if you're chasing away your symptoms, I'm not dealing with it. If you're tired and you're taking a bunch of coffee, like if you're so tired, like you're so tired. Like today, I was so tired. If I had actually had a job today, I would have called in sick. Okay, and if my job couldn't deal with that, then I would find another job because my health is more important than producing for somebody else. My health is so much more important than sacrificing my body for somebody else. Okay. And so instead of me drinking my coffee thinking I'm going to go on Facebook Live or go and type more stuff that I need to type, because I have to figure out how to explain all this, I said, okay, taking a break today and I'm going to just watch these Netflix and freaking just sleep. And I slept from 9 to 2. I got up, like I slept almost, went to bed around 12 because I've been up. I was up at 2 taking my dog out. And then when my husband gets up at 3, I didn't even hear the truck go on. I didn't even hear him come upstairs because sometimes he falls asleep on the couch. I didn't hear nothing. I was dead to the freaking world. Then I was up around 7 or 8 and I take my dog out, pay the bills, just like delirious. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm waking up so freaking tired and I go back to bed. And so I went back to bed around 9 and got up around 2 and felt better, did a poop and did all that stuff. And so that's how I take care of myself because I know in this environment where you have viruses all over the freaking place, I do not want to start going down that road because that's what starts de-evolution is when you feel so many different evolutions that you don't want to stop your game. When you feel so many different symptoms, people will do anything they can and they'll use jjuice to disappear it. And then they get into that habit. And that's what the whole crux of it is that's right. When you have so much evolution, humans will get into the habit of disappearing their symptoms because it gets in the way of their game. And so then they get addicted to all of the different, the things that disappear their symptoms. And that's why people are on opioids because they're painkillers. Well, why do you have a painkiller? Because people are, trying to live. So anyways, I'm rambling. I'm going to get off right now. But I think I figured out some stuff that, yes, we've proven that jjuice can also be a cure. And it also can be a positive side too. Jjuice is balancing both the positive and negative. The positive is using it to open up your ionic gates and heal. The negative side is when you're disappearing symptoms. Now you have to use a food supply. Like seriously, you have to use the food supply to now finally recode your DNA. And if you don't eat enough food, and if you're discriminatory, there's no way you're going to survive if you're not going to be feeding your body correctly. Okay, bye.